I'm going to yield to the much improved ranking member, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez from New York, for a closing statement.
I'll take the gold star. Thank you, Chairman. Yeah. And I'd like to thank our witnesses here today. Once again, we acknowledge fully that this is not easy and that your respect, your service and your public service here is respected and acknowledged and valued. So thank you. Thank you for your testimony. I think it is important for us to, summarize much of what we heard and saw today, and overall what this matter is about. A U.S. attorney, handpicked by Attorney General Barr, has for 4 years investigated, together with a dozen agents and at least 4 prosecutors from his office and the tax division of the Department of Justice, the son of President Biden. Hunter Biden has been charged with a felony and misdemeanors, and 2 misdemeanors, and he is pleading guilty to several crimes and submitting to sentencing by an appointed judge, a Trump-appointed judge. However, we are also seeing today is an effort to find some issue with this prosecution, this existing prosecution. This is a person who has admitted to crimes, and finding evidence of political interference, a very serious charge. So much of what we saw today honed in on a conversation, the testimony honed in on a conversation that one of today's witnesses was involved in which Mr. Shapley heard Mr. Weiss to say that he was denied special counsel status. That account had been contradicted by the U.S. Attorney Weiss, who has reiterated several times that he had full authority to bring any charges in any district and had received assurances from the Department of Justice that if he needed special attorney status, not counsel, but rather attorney status to bring those charges, it would be granted. So we are left here with 2 possible options for this story. That either Mr. Weiss, who was appointed by President Donald J. Trump and trusted by Attorney General Barr, also serving under Trump, was lying to protect the Biden administration, or he respectfully disagreed with the charges that today's 2 witnesses wanted to bring as professionals in their professional opinion. Disagreement over charges is not uncommon. The IRS Criminal Tax Counsel attorneys have disagreed in charging decisions, as we heard here today, 90% of the time. And in this particular case, reviewing attorneys at IRS and the tax division raised issues with the proposed charges. And the witnesses described how Mr. Weiss expressed some concerns about the charges. In fact, in some of the testimony we saw, Mr. Shapley recognized with regard to at least one of the charges which he himself recommended he could, and I am quoting from testimony, quote, see some issues with that would preclude it from being charged. Now, I understand why the 2 witnesses who testified here today are disappointed after 5 years of investigation. I believe you all are honorable, serving professionals, truly. And that Mr. Weiss disagreed with this analysis of facts. There was absolutely frustration that to not, quote, have a seat at the table, that Mr. Weiss made his decision about how to charge in this case, and he did charge. And that was a decision that he, as the U.S. attorney in charge of the case, was empowered to make. The question, though, I believe, that is very important to address is why we are holding these hearings today, despite what we have seen as deliberate lobbying for this hearing by a political candidate, Donald J. Trump. What we also saw today was the revival of certain conspiracy theories around Ukraine, first promoted by Rudy Giuliani during Trump's first impeachment in 2019 and his reelection campaign. We did not bring that up. That was first brought up by the Republican side that required addressing here today. Chairman Comer started this hearing by asking these witnesses about Burisma, and other members of the committee again raised the specter of these debunked conspiracy theories. It has been debunked time and time again, including by Trump's own Department of Justice. But that being said, this is the problem with bringing these conspiracy theories into this committee. They beget more. It does not stop. And today we have gotten a new conspiracy theory, one that requires us to believe that David Weiss, a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, trusted by Trump-appointed Attorney General Barr, has somehow been complicit in abetting and concealing a deep state conspiracy to protect Hunter Biden on behalf of the Biden administration when they were selected by Donald Trump. This is a theory which has apparently been proven unsuccessful, given that Hunter Biden is now criminally charged and facing sentencing by a Trump-appointed judge. Today also marked a new low when pornographic images were paraded in this hearing room. Chairman Comer, last October, you told Time magazine that you were not interested in the sordid details of Hunter Biden's life. You were quoted as saying, quote, "That's counter to a credible investigation," and I agree. Sadly, that is a reflection of how low some individuals here have been willing to go in their efforts to attack the president and his family, and frankly, I don't care who you are in this country, no one deserves that. It is abuse. It is abusive. If Republicans truly want to get to the fact here, and they want to understand why Mr. Weiss decided to charge Hunter Biden the way he did, let's hear from Mr. Weiss. But until then, we must move on from these theories and focus on the issues that matter to the American people, like ending the scourge of gun violence that is plaguing our country, confronting and combating the climate crisis, and standing up for our constitutional rights, and yes, going after the enormous amount of inequity and injustice in our tax system. And with that, I yield back to the chair.
Gentlelady yields back.